Hello, people of the internet. Welcome to the special report, your news and views program about geek gaming culture on the internet. Coming up in the show today, some new statements have been raised in the, what I'm christening as the ProJaredGate. His quote-unquote explanation left out one important detail that Heidi took upon herself to add to this whole statement, plus something that might be major problems if we're not reading too much into one particular tweet she said in a string. Plus, views about the hypocrisy between how people were responding to this and responding to another degree in infidelity that happened in 2014. My name is JD Shadow, and all of this and the OC remix track of the day is coming your way right about now. Well, for those people who have been living under a rock this past week or two, have not heard about ProJared's Jared Navabacher, or whatever his last name is, I'm not going to even try to pronounce that well, has been in a bit of an infidelity scandal that has manifested into what would probably be one of the most salacious scandals that a YouTuber has ever been in, and I don't say that lightly. He has been accused of sending nudes to minors, and again, I made that whole video about whether or not those people could live in other countries, and the age of consent could vary depending on what country you're living in. However, now the more that we're hearing about it, the more that we might have the implication that they were under the age consent in the country they were living in, and the main thing is they were minors when he posted those images toward them. And we're not going to show you those pictures, but there's sufficient evidence to suspect that he is guilty on all fronts as to what exactly is being accused of. His former partner Heidi had filed a divorce alongside him, and he issued a statement which didn't really say much, but Heidi spilled all the goods after ProJared blocked her before issuing that statement, blindsiding her as to what was going on. And so the dominoes fell once she exposed all. In the middle of all of this is Holly Conrad, the person who he cheated on her with. And Holly Conrad was married at first to a member of the Game Grumps, something in which he would probably know well, since he was a member of Normal Boots before Normal Boots released him at the wake of this whole thing going down. You will no doubt see that I am labeling this ProJaredGate because, hey, everything that is scandalous has had the word gate next to it. So why not this one too? The one thing that was missing in all of this though, the one thing that seemingly was very much in need was his testimony. Where was he in all of this? For a full week, we didn't hear a thing besides him saying that he wouldn't be at a convention that he was scheduled to appear in. That has now changed. That has now changed because of an official statement that he has posted to his Twitter account. He posted this on May 17th, which is a full day before I had read this in and posted this special report, and I kind of teetered on for a bit about whether or not I should post this because one, it's a day late, and two, because not much has developed since then. Not much has developed since the whole issues came about. However, I see a lot of YouTubers who are posting stuff about the initial allegations and everything that went down, and of course his view count and his subscriber count, which is dropping like a freaking rock. But not many are touching upon this recent development, what he has said since then, and this is the first time that he has said anything to this regard. And I'm going to read to you the entire piece, and I want you to pay attention to something he's failing to bring up, which is a big part of this, and I will say what my response is on the other side, and it's not very good. Here he is in full, quote, "I am deeply sorry to anyone who has seen the accusations, vitriol, or unwanted photos that my former partner Heidi and others have been posting online since last Wednesday, May 8th, 2019, making it a full week and a half since this all fell down like a bomb. The truth is that Heidi and my marriage has been in a bad place for some time. I never wanted any of these accusations to become public for both Heidi and my mental well-being, but they have, and the accusations being made now must be addressed. A full years ago, Heidi asked me if we could be in an open polyamorous marriage. I recognize now that this request and my willingness to go along with it was an unhealthy attempt to solve deeper issues that had developed within our marriage. Heidi has taken several casual partners and has been in a more serious relationship with another partner since 2017. Whether done to make her own actions feel justified or because she genuinely believed it would help me build self-esteem. Heidi suggested that I also engage with other women. Heidi encouraged me to tell Holly that I was developing feelings for her, but when I did, things changed with Heidi. She became angrier and vindictive, and did not want me to seek or speak with Holly anymore. She called me a cheater and claimed that I was destroying our marriage because of my affair, even though she continued to have other relationships with other partners. I never wanted to destroy our marriage, and I spent months after that doing what I could to repair through couples therapy and extensive individual therapy. Those close to me have witnessed Heidi's behavior toward me on many occasions, and have begged me to leave for some time. I was many things during this time, including embarrassed, scared, and broken, but I was never the abuser. I made several attempts to leave starting in October 2018, but each time she refused to let it happen, threatening to destroy my career and to harm others if I left. Despite all of this, I tried to end things amicably. I helped Heidi find a new place to live and paid the initial deposits. I bought her a car to facilitate her independence, and I formally filed for the divorce on May 13, 2019, and have instructed my attorneys to make sure she receives her fair share of what I earned while we were together. I genuinely never wanted any of this to happen, but I have finally realized I had no other choice. Even though I have been tempered to put information out online that shows my side of the story, I don't want to further stoke the fires of what should be a private matter between us. My hope is that both of us continue to pursue therapy and come out of this unfortunate situation better people. But I want everyone to know that any other interactions I may have had with any other women were known to and encouraged by Heidi, and were had with only the purest and lawful intentions. I am sorry to everyone I had disappointed, and I realize that as a public figure I am held to the higher standard. I have made my share of mistakes, but I have only ever tried to do what's best for Heidi and me. Now, when I recorded that part of it just then, I did not hear that Heidi had responded to this. Apparently, she has responded to it, and wow, oh boy. Not only did that not address the bigger issue here, but again, it did seem as though he was victim blaming and blaming Heidi for everything that had occurred. And keep in mind that the infidelity in of itself, as much as it is salacious and wrong and immoral, I could probably look past that because, again, we're only human. We've all made mistakes at some point in our lives. Everybody does it. It's not as though we're ever innocent of anything at all. We've all done things that we had later regretted. However, Heidi has posted her own answer to all of this, and I want to read you all of these in full. She first goes on to say, well, I've already seen screenshots of Jared's latest statements. Just count the number of times he says Heidi compared to addressing his actions. I'm shocked that he's even still trying. This is full of misdirection and lies. He says he only acted with my approval, and this is nothing short of BS. It's legitimately insane. I told him in no uncertain terms that I was not comfortable with polygamy after he proved he could not be transparent with me. Countless people can corroborate this. It's true that I knew from the start that he and Holly were interested in each other. I called them out in January 2018. I said, address this because I'm not blind and I'm not an idiot. I wasn't comfortable with it. I was just trying very, very hard to accept my husband. Holly is the reason our open relationship did not work, because she told Jared that she only had feelings for him, despite being married at the time. And my response to that was, holy shiitake, absolutely not. If Jared wants to keep any of this private, he's welcome to stop gaslighting me and shifting blame for everything he has absolutely unequivocally done, because there's evidence far and wide. His statements admit he was with Holly, while she had me blocked and was vague tweeting vitriol about me for months. So which part of that was I aware and approving of Jared? Even with Holly out of the equation, I was completely unaware of him having sexual interactions with fans after late 2017. That's really interesting that she words it like that. And the reason I thought it ended then was because I demanded he be ended because it's unacceptable. She goes on to state, quote, I literally couldn't move out without him paying for these things because he had financial control of me for years. He encouraged me to be dependent on him, now wants holidays for caring for my basic needs. That's not generosity. I'm entitled to 50% of our shared wealth. He promised me a life together, betrayed that plan, and now it's like, well, I paid her deposit so she's not homeless. The level of entitlement is insane. She continues on saying, it's amazing that I haven't shown proof. I don't need to, the internet did it for me, but he still claims the allegations are all from me. I think that really shows his mental state and bizarre insistence that it all comes back to me. Next up, those underage fans totally bullied me into it. Jared has always used his money to quiet me down. If I was upset, it was go get yourself something nice and never let's talk about it. This is his latest version of I did right by her, meaning he gave me money instead of integrity, honesty, and faithfulness. I fought hard to keep the relationship because I wanted those virtues. He couldn't give them to me. At this point, though, I'll take the money. And for the record, I was his girlfriend before he ever received his first YouTube dollar. I was dating him while he was on unemployment. I stayed at his side as he rose to a level of fame I never expected. I didn't even know there would be YouTube dollars. Polygamy requires transparency and consent. Otherwise, it's good old-fashioned cheating. Jared's statement insists he wants privacy while adding tons of details solely to blame me for everything he did, after I had stopped talking about it already. I'm really lucky I got away. This is what I'll live with privately with no support. If you read my tweets from earlier today and the past week, I've been clearly refocusing. I want to leave this and him behind. I'm trying to make my art and build a future. I'm floored that he wants to sling more fill in the blank this late this week. Okay, ProJared, stop tweeting about it and I'll keep following your lead. Act like you want that privacy. People keep asking for clarification. We attempted polygamy, and then I shut it down for no uncertain terms. I never had anything to hide from him, period. I did not receive the same transparency. I literally warned him, others will be hurt by knowledge of your adultery. Your fans and your friends who unwillingly enabled it. He ignored me and acted like I was threatening him. Accountability is a threat to him. My therapist reminded me how survivors often feel the need to defend and protect themselves. Is a trauma response. Not responding needs to be part of my healing process. I am working on it. Thank you all for your support. People ask me if I'm going to delete old content, photo shoots, videos, etc. that feature Jared and Holly. None of that all happened, and this is the record of it. I have nothing to hide. I'm going to make new memories to replace the bad ones. Someday I'll wipe Jared in any and all aspects of my online life. At the moment though, I'm still recovering from everything that's happened. It's fresh and still happening. I don't feel the need to hide or cover anything. That really only helps him. Then she goes on to say that she's going to attend MomoCon next week. If I'm not there in any official capacity, just seeing my friends and having fun, I'm really looking forward to it. So there you go. And let me first go on the record by saying, why did Jared cheat on somebody who not only is this attractive, I'm not gonna lie, she's attractive. Not only that, but she seems as though she's a really nice person. I would hope that she does rebound from this and find somebody who deserves somebody like her, because ProJared does not deserve her. She is a nice person. She seems like she's an upstanding, very nice, very attractive person. I mean, if you looked at her photos, she's really pretty. She's a great cosplayer. She's a excellent person, it seems like, and hey, she's really attractive. I hope no one minds me saying that. I hope she doesn't mind me saying that. She is very pretty, and I guess ProJared has lost somebody who really wanted to care for him and really wanted somebody that she can care for, and I hope she finds her way. I hope that she finds what she is looking for at the end of the day, and I hope it's somebody who deserves somebody like her. Now, a few things come from this, and I want to stress that I am just an outsider looking in on this whole thing going down. I don't know anybody personally associated with this whole story. This is me being a person that reports news, who opines on the news, as it were, and to give my perspective upon it. I don't know anybody personally associated with it in any sort of way, at least as far as I'm aware. Maybe there's somebody who has seen him or met him or her that I know of, but as far as I'm aware, I know nobody that is personally associated with this story. But let me get this out of the way right now. As much as I side with Heidi here, Jared does deserve to have his viewpoint be seen and to be taken seriously. Now, I don't agree with him. I side with Heidi on this situation. situation. However, keep in mind that we have a situation in our society right now in which 9 times out of 10, when these type of things happen, the guy is immediately blamed. And in this case, we are blaming the right party, but there was a certain point in time in 2014 where we might have made a mistake. And we all know what we're talking about with Zoe Quinn. And I bet you 3/4 of the people who are rightfully blaming Jared for this one and are rightfully calling him out for this condoned the infidelity that Zoe Quinn has done. Now, of course, I feel like infidelity and these kinds of issues should be kept in private. Now, you can make the argument that if there is a part of it that has to deal with something that can affect a person in a professional way, then maybe we should at the very least hear about that part of it, because remember the whole stuff that we learned because of learning about Zoe Quinn's infidelity. We also learned about possible nepotism, which was not directly related to the infidelity. However, we did learn that Nathan Grace and Zoe Quinn were friends when he made that Games Jam article about Depression Quest, and I'm not going to go into what that started because we all know what that started. We all know what that was the genesis of, and people, again, lose their freaking minds whenever even the word of that is mentioned. So I'm not going to get into the drama of bringing it up any further than I already have. Maybe I am already in trouble for even addressing it. However, Jana Kurtzner, again, made an excellent video. I implore you guys watch that video because it goes into great detail. By the way, Games Journalism Press, reinstate her. She deserves it. She was really wronged by that. She is an excellent journalist. You should hire her immediately. But if you are somebody who is blaming Jared, and rightfully so, I might add, that condone the infidelity that Zoe Quinn did in 2014, perhaps you should go back, examine it, perhaps retract what you said there, because you're making yourself out to be hypocrites. You're employing a double standard, and that is no good for either gender or any gender. Now, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. Heidi worded a certain tweet in that whole string I read in a very interesting way, saying that she was completely unaware of him having sexual interactions with fans after late 2017. Sexual interactions? Does that mean not just sending nudes to minors? What is she implying there? That is something brand new that if I'm not reading too far into it, then I probably should, which I probably am. However, given the fact that he had never once addressed by name the second part of this most serious allegation, I can get past the infidelity stuff because I feel like that is something that is between the people involved and should not be put in the public eye unless there's something that would affect us on a more professional front, like say if it was a games journalist on the other end of it. And yeah, as a YouTuber on the other end of this being Holly, however, it's not something that could lead to nepotism in another place that could spark a whole nother debate. Here it's just 3 people who are in the whirlwind, it would seem. However, it is the second part of this that he completely leaves out, which is the sending news to minors. And unlike what I said before, that maybe age consent could be the one thing that he could go to, perhaps it's not, because it does seem that the people he was sending nudes to were minors in the country that they were in when he sent them. That means that if he was sending someone in Japan, they would be under 14 years of age. If he sent someone to Mexico, it would be under the age of consent. They would be under the age. And you can make that whole argument if you want to about whether or not the age consent should be what it is. However, it is still the law. And that is the more horrific part of all of this. And the more egregious and more damning part of this. He never addresses that. And now Heidi says this part of it. Heidi says, hey, he might have had sexual interactions. What does that mean? If she knows something outside of the sending news to minors, maybe she needs to address that part of it, because that is something that could really set off a firestorm, and he would be wishing that it was just his YouTube subscriber count going down like a brick. And let me make it perfectly clear, I don't wish that to happen. I hope that is not the case. I hope I am wrong. I hope it is just me reading too much into this, because if it turns out that there is something else there, her and it was not consensual, oh my god, that could be extremely sickening and extremely damning. That could not only destroy his career, that could destroy his life. That could destroy everything about him. We would not be seeing him for a long time. But in retrospect, I do believe Heidi is the one on the moral high ground here and on the truthful high ground. I do believe that Jared has a right to be heard, has a right to be heard out, and I do believe that, yes, men can be emotionally and psychologically abused in a relationship alongside women in a relationship like that. Maybe it just wasn't meant to work out, and things can happen, and yes, I get it, I understand that. People do make mistakes, they do need a chance to grow. I hate this way back machine that we've been using lately. I've been frowning on the way they used it to get after the wrestler Lars Sullivan for some things that he said off color some years ago. I think it was 10 years ago that he said those things, and now the WWE has fined him for those comments. Even though they were 10 years ago outside the company, they made an excuse in order to be able to fine him. We had to have an opportunity to grow and to learn from our mistakes and to try to get out of the black cloud of people holding grudges forever and ever. Why is that a thing anymore? I don't understand that. That having been said, however, and even though there are people who I could see as hypocrites, because a lot of people who are condemning Jared now did not condemn Zoe Quinn for her infidelity back in the day, even though they rightfully are condemning Jared there. Maybe we should be treating both genders or anything in between as equal people and are able to accept blame as equals themselves. Just saying that. Not saying Heidi is at any fault for this. She seems to be the one on the high ground here, seems to be the one who is telling the truth in this sort of regard. And why Jared would throw away somebody who seems to be very kind, very gracious, very forgiving as well, and very pretty and very attractive. And I hope she finds a guy who deserves her and is just as nice as she is and can accept her for who she is, and also to give her the love and support that she needs and deserves. I hope that happens with her. And to be quite fair, and I'm going to say this again, I really hope that Jared also does find a way in order to get back on his feet and to accept that he made these terrible mistakes in his life, and he can come out of this, because as much as he's done completely wrong here, and I hope this is the most of it, and I hope there's not somebody, as I said, that can say that, oh, he did something more than just send nudes or something like that. The way that Heidi's wording this makes me very scared that something like that is known and somebody has had that kind of experience. I hope there's not. I don't know anybody who has had that kind of experience with him. As I said, I don't know anybody personally who's associated with this story, but as much as he's done terrible things here, I don't want to see his career being ruined by this. I do believe in second chances. I do believe in giving somebody a second chance at a career or a life or something like that. I do hope that he finds a way to get back on his feet and own up to his mistakes, because hey, owning up your mistakes is the hardest part of it. It is the most difficult part of all of this. And owning up to that second part of it, not only would it stop the bleeding, maybe it would, I'm not sure if it would, but it would at least say to people, hey, I'm owning up to it. I'm gonna own this. I am not going to let this destroy me. Own it. Say, hey, this stuff happened. Maybe I need some help in this regard. Maybe I thought it was okay. Maybe I didn't know these guys were underage. Maybe it was something that I thought was okay at the time, and maybe I need to seek some guidance on this. Everybody goes through those types of things where they've hit rock bottom, and the hardest thing is to accept that, hey, there's a problem. As a character on the Newsroom TV show, Will McAvoy said, the first step in solving a problem is recognizing that a problem exists. The first step that Jared needs to do in order to solve this problem is recognizing that the problem exists right now. He is not accepting that the problem, whether it be from his YouTube sub count going in flames to whatever he ended up doing in a salacious regard, he is not owning up to that part of it. Granted, he's not owning up to the infidelity either. However, that part of it is more of a he said, she said thing still. I do believe Heidi in that regard, but it's between those three. And perhaps the infidelity and the, for lack of a better term, pedophilia is intertwined in this, but I'm trying to, as best I can, separate the two things here. Please give me that regard to try to separate it best I can. But that part of it, I do believe her on, but it is a private matter and something I could probably look past. If it wasn't for that second part of it, that's the one that is killing him. That's the part that 3/4 of everybody who is damning him is worried about, is that sending news to minors and being extremely creepy, an extremely creepy individual. And maybe the only thing that he hasn't done yet is figure out what Wizard Chan is. Or maybe he can join Chaz Apocalypse, because maybe they'll protect him. Because they already protected one abuser, maybe they can protect him too. And that's gonna do it for this edition of the special report. Thanks as always for watching. Before I go, in the memory of somebody who did this every time he did a content patch, and because I do believe that he would be a lot more of an upstanding figure than ProJared has ever been, and I could safely say that he would probably say the same things that I just did here in the special report, that being Total Biscuit, who, have you believed it's been a year now since his untimely death to colon cancer? It's been that long. Oh man, how much the gaming world misses a voice like his, misses an upstanding person like he always was. Anyway, I'm deciding to just pick something out of random. New Junk City, Earthworm Jim. I do play sometimes the remix for Anything But Tangerines. Probably one of my favorite game musics of all time is that particular track. However, the first Earthworm Jim game had a track of its own that was very memorable, New Junk City, and found this one by MK Vaff called Lunch to Cow, because that doesn't say anything, does it? Earthworm Jim was always with a fascination for cows for some weird reason. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you with that. Thank you as always for watching. Leave a comment down below about what you thought about the story and any agreements and disagreements. Please keep them civil. Oh, and please leave a like down below and share this, because it does help me out a lot. Until next time, my name is JD Shadow, and that just happened.